YouTube, how are you doing? And welcome back to Phasmophobia. We got some absolutely massive news for this game that is going to be coming in 2026. We're going to learn all about the future of this game today, and maybe even the full release. Yes, no more early access. The full release might actually be coming in 2026 or soon after, and we're going to be talking all about that in this video right here, because the developers have given us the next development preview for 2026. Now, this contains stuff about character models, Horror 2.0, of course, death animations, as well as your beloved Tanglewood may be getting a big change as well. So we're going to be going over all of it. I haven't read it yet, so we're going to be seeing it all firsthand here today. Welcome back, Ghost Hunters. We've got some news for you today. We're pulling back the curtain just a little on some of the updates coming to Phasmophobia in 2026. Next year is looking to be one of the biggest in the game's history as we build towards launching Phasmophobia 1.0. Bring the game to Nintendo Switch 2 and continue to evolve and iterate on the game. Reaching that 1.0 milestone will be a huge moment for not only the game, but Kinetic Games and, of course, you, the community. That is crazy. 1.0 for Phasmo. Honestly, I didn't think we'd see that anytime soon, but here we are. I mean, it's been like 6 years almost, so I guess it was bound to happen at some point. We hope you look forward to everything we have in store. In this development preview, we'll be looking at the player character update, our Tanglewood rework, and as well as sharing a little on what Phasmophobia 1.0 will look like. What? Oh my god. Player character update, here we go. Let's just hop into it. Let's just not get too excited and stuck on the numbers here, because that's kind of crazy. Player character update. Originally, we shared that our player character update will be launching in 2025. Unfortunately, we weren't able to meet that date, but for good reason, as we saw with Chronicle earlier this year. Giving the update more breathing room to evolve pays off, so while there's a little longer wait, we're excited to share that we'll be launching the player update in Q1 2026. All right. Of course, one of the biggest features. Sorry, am I covering up stuff, by the way? Because I'm in this corner. There was a lot of text on the screen, man. We got a lot to go through here. Of course, one of the biggest features of this update is the ability to customize your Ghost Hunter in-game with free cosmetics and different looks. However, a major other part of this update is an overhaul to the player's character itself, and we wanted to focus on that today. We've created brand new character models, improved animations, and fine-tuned how it feels to play Phasmophobia. Our overall aim is to create the most immersive experience we can, and we believe our current character models and animations can snap, pun intended, you out of the game. With a disjointed arm there, a bandy back there. With these changes, our characters will move with more realism and present a more lifelike experience for players. This update is a key part of our road to Phasmophobia 1.0, creating the most immersive experience possible, but more on that later. Below are two screenshots showcasing our new character models that players will be able to use from the moment the update drops. As you can see, our new models present a huge leap in quality over the current in-game ones. So these ones, I've seen these in many indie horror games because it's basically like a free asset pack that for some reason we're still using this many years into the development of this game with like a team of 30 people or something at this point. So yeah, I'm glad to finally see some new character models. We got this dapper fella right here, and then over here we have the small girl model that is getting a makeover as well. Now these are obviously made by the dev team themselves, so we won't be seeing. I honestly always enjoyed that about Phasmo though, like as someone who plays like, I don't know, hundreds of horror games in a year, seeing the different things from Phasmo just randomly pop up in like some janky horror game. Suddenly you'll see the Phasmo bunny, suddenly you'll be chased by one of your trusted fellow ghost hunters, and you'll just randomly see those in games. I always thought that was kind of fun, but obviously it's going to be a step up for the game. Now I still think they are very much in line with the, I mean, they are a step up, but like they're still very, very much fast. They look like Phasmo ghost models to me. Like I could immediately, I feel like I immediately get used to this. Now we don't even see the full face of it. On these ones we do. Now I do gotta be honest that I always enjoyed, like when they removed the twerking. If you remember, if you're an old head of Phasmo, when someone would die while they were crouching, their legs would glitch into the ground, which would make them violently twerk as they were dying, which was fucking amazing. It was one of the saddest moments when they removed that. Now, obviously, they have shown time and time again that they want this to be a very serious, gritty ghost hunting game, and obviously, the fucking animations that are going on are not the best to make it the most serious experience, so that's why they're moving away from it, of course. So yeah, let me know what you think. It's kind of like, I don't care. First of all, I don't play multiplayer very much, so I don't really see these models in the first place, and I always thought they were kind of funny. I honestly think like the models are iconic, so it will be a bit of, it will be a change, but I think these look very much like what you'd expect character models in a horror game to look like. The other feature we wanted to highlight in today's preview is our new animation and player movement system that will be making their way to Phasmophobia as part of this update. A few examples of these new animations and movements are opening and closing doors with hands. Interesting. Equipment swapping. Picking up, dropping, placing equipment, injecting tier 3 sanity medication. Yo, look at that animation. What the hell? And actually, of course, that you could see the hands properly, and I hope have a proper shadow as well. And I hope when you pull up the mirror, you know, when you pull up the cursed possession mirror and you see yourself in the room, you don't just see two floating hands holding the mirror, but instead you see like your actual character looking into a mirror. Now this is gonna be tough because I think it's hard to do character animations, and they will often look like, when they're not motion captured, character animations will often look kind of robotic and just awkward. You can like tell that they were like made by a human on a computer screen rather than like an actual human moving around. So I don't know if they're gonna do motion capture or how that's gonna work, but that'll be interesting to see. And I hope they'll do a good job. It's CJ, man. CJ never makes a mistake. We never say CJ. No, it'll be great. So yeah, that's cool. Opening doors is gonna be interesting because all of these things, like, they're fun cosmetically, so, and they're hopefully not gonna change gameplay too much, because if you're suddenly, like, in the middle of a hunt, have to run away and then go, and then through the door, that's gonna be a bit awkward and weird, and I don't know how that's gonna, I hope that's not gonna, like, suddenly make us constantly die. Oh no, it was a pull door. I mean, that happens all the time anyway, so yeah, I don't know. That'll be, it'll probably be not gameplay changing, and you'll still be able to open doors really quickly. Although right now you can literally just like click on a door and it instantly opens up. Like, you can swing open doors really fast, which I think is so really important for getting away from ghosts. And if you have to like stand up, click specifically on the door handle, it might so this is like, I always sort of look at these because I'm more of a gameplay guy than a visual guy, and I would honestly be careful, because if you suddenly have to like look at doors very clearly and open doors slowly, yes, it might be immersive, but the gameplay would be fucked if that's how it's gotta work, and you can't just like instantly swing open a door as you have to run through them away from the ghost. Suddenly the game is gonna look nice but feel clunky as fuck. So that's gonna be a risky venture they're going on here that I hope they will nail. I mean, this looks cool. This is an easy one, like animations for equipment turning on. Although that again, it increases some kind of friction, and you'll see these animations thousands upon thousands of time while playing like hundreds of games of Phasmo. You'll constantly be turning off and on equipment. So adding that little bit of like 2-second delay in between equipment turning on, I don't know, like, I'm not immediately very excited for that, I gotta be honest. Like, it just sounds like more of a hassle than it actually being worth, but they're going for the serious, gritty vibe of it with actual animation. So yeah, that'll be something that I'm kind of wary of, but I'm gonna be optimistic for it. And of course, here we go. New death and revive animations. We're giving you a sneak peek at below. We have, instead of the blah, blah, falls over, glitches out, arms crossed, legs crossed, leaning up against the wall, stuff like that, we'll probably get... I mean, I don't know how is this gonna work. We don't see the finished animation. They'll probably still ragdoll, right? Which will lead to funny positions. I never minded that. Like this, let me know. Does anybody get bothered by this? Like, I genuinely am curious what the Like, I don't know if I mean, I know there are people, specifically death animations, and I don't think when people say death animations, they mean the way it looks when you see someone die. That has never bothered me. I think what people mean when they say the death animations look clunky and it's been 5 years is that what happens when you die is like two hands go into your head, right? Like, that's the part that people were bothered by, not this part. I personally, at least, I don't know, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong on this one and this is what you were bothered by. I was personally more bothered by the silly hands, and then not even the silly hands, specifically when you get sent to the death realm, the ghost is doing the fucking gritty over there and you're just like, oh man, in this corner with like hanging bodies that are just flopping around on the ceiling. Like, that always felt really fucking silly. Like, that needs an overhaul, not necessarily this. Although this looks better, obviously. Like, you were getting floated into the air, your necks were getting twisted, and you were getting rising up from the grave. Like, obviously, these animations are better, but I'm mostly interested in the actual death animation from a first-person perspective. So we don't know anything about that. Now, this is where I might get a little negative, and I think a lot of people are going to get a little negative, because the Tanglewood rework is a tricky subject, because Tanglewood is my most played map, and I think, let me know in the comments, for a lot of people, their most played map, and they are doing some big changes. I have already seen these screenshots before going into this, and I can already tell you there's gonna be something to talk about here. Let's hop into it. We'll detail more the update in more depth as we get closer to its launch, so stay tuned. So I assume this is also part of the character model update. Tanglewood rework. Oh boy, here we go. Launching alongside the player character update will be our reworked version of Tanglewood Drive. Oh baby. We know that the news of us reworking Tanglewood was met with a bit of trepidation. What a word, Jesus Christ. But we hope seeing the work we did with both Bleasdale and Grafton has reassured that these reworks are all about leveling up the locations rather than changing anything too drastically. I agree with this part, but then you see the screenshots and you're gonna be a little concerned. But yeah, so I don't know if these screenshots, I feel like these screenshots are kind of chosen. I know I'm prefacing them maybe a bit too much. Are chosen almost as like a way to be like, no, it looks like it's gonna be fucked up, but it'll actually be good. Promise us, or trust us. Because yeah, I think they absolutely nailed Bleasdale and Grafton. I do think that here, let's just take a look at it. Let's take a look at it and I'll talk about why I think that the stuff is gonna change. Stuff is changing here. So this is the living room, which already has this table. It looks like the table might have been raised a bit. So I'm, once again, looking at this from gameplay perspective. So I'm immediately looking looping spots, hiding spots, lighting situations, like how is this going to feel to play on. You can see visually, it's going to be more of a grandma map. This carpet, it's a grandma staple. I think they are handing them out at the grandma conference every year. I don't know why everyone's grandma has got a carpet like this, but it's just the way it works. They just got these. So yeah, this is the grandma classic right there. And then we have like a very, very saggy, comfy looking chair. Honestly, extremely saggy. I don't know how you're supposed to sit on this one. I guess if you sit on this part of the chair, it'll sag in deep so that these are actually at arm height. Because right now it looks like it's just one flat sack on the floor. And then here we have the old looking couch with the like IKEA shark, but in tiny version, that you can also see on Point Hope. We have a candle on the table, which is kind of nice. And what I'm hoping here is, because this is raised, and it does look pretty raised, is that this actually becomes like a new, not looping spot, because this size is just not big enough for a looping spot, but it could be a clutch hiding spot where you like dash behind this, and then you sit on this side of the table. You can see my mouse there. Yeah, okay, good. You sit on this side of the table as the ghost is walking back and forth. That could be interesting because you can't do that right now with that tiny table. It's way smaller than this one right here. Now, this is the first picture. The second picture is gonna cause your head to twist maybe like in this animation right here. At least it did for me when I first saw it. Look at the new kitchen. Spot the difference. Do you feel like something is missing here? I feel like something is missing here. What did they do to the kitchen island, man? What the fuck is going on here? Okay, all right, all hands on deck. This might be code red situation for Tanglewood. Rest in peace. 07's in the chat. They are, in fact, removing the most iconic, best looping spot in the entire video game. It is the quintessential place where everybody learns how do you loop, how do you play this game, how do you survive a hunt, and they are taking it away, which is maybe the craziest decision. Like, there is one of the decisions of all time that I don't know if I will ever understand why the fuck they would decide to do this. So, let's go over it. Let's go over what we see here. So this kitchen looks fucking sick, by the way. I think this is the thing why I'm like, I don't know if they're getting a little lost in the sauce of making things look nice and forgetting that it's a video game that is supposed to be as fun to play as it is to look at. Like, a game can be beautiful to look at, but if it feels clunky and annoying to play, you get something like Demonologist or like one of the other ghost hunting games that at first when they were released, people were like, oh my god, this is the Phasmo killer, and now probably I just like woke up 3 people that, oh yeah, what the fuck happened to those games? Yeah, those games existed and then they fucking died because as nice as they looked, they were not fun at all to play. So I'm kind of scared that we are twisting the needle, going like turning our beloved super fun very snappy, active, dynamic ghost hunting game into a like animation simulator that I am personally not the most excited for. So yeah, I know that sounds really negative, but I'm just being honest. That's just how we roll when we do these dev previews. So yeah, removing the kitchen island is a crazy move. Now, of course, we have a hiding spot here, so you can dash into the kitchen maybe, and then pray to fuck that you don't get found back here. Now, we already know that at least 1 out of every 5 times you'll hide here, the ghost will randomly path into the kitchen, kill you, and even though it only happened 1 out of every 5 games, that one situation will make you never hide here ever again, and so it's gonna be like a novelty hiding spot for a little bit until it kills you like 2 times in a row, and you're like, alright, fuck this, I'm never hiding here again. Like, these type of hiding spots just do not work. It's like the same hiding spot as in like Ridge View behind the kitchen counter, where why would you ever hide in that spot? You would just hide behind the fridge, you know? So I would like to see, I mean, I guess there's not really a place here for a better hiding spot, because of course it is still going to be a small map, which it does seem like this kitchen has gotten a lot smaller here. Now, there's situations, there's something to say about this one. So obviously the looping spot here is removed. What I think and pray and hope and genuinely am like mostly certain about is that if you pan the camera to the left in this situation, you'll see a beautiful, big, tall dining table that has taken over as the new looping spot on this map. Because if they truly took away the best looping spot in the entire video game and not change the kitchen table to make it a proper looping spot, I am genuinely concerned as to what the fuck is going on here, because clearly that has to be done. And I haven't like messaged any, I'm like genuinely a little concerned and like a little, I don't know, I kind of just wanted to ignore it for a little bit because it was kind of stressing me out the way seeing like Tanglewood touch like this in a way where they say that they keep it in theme without changing anything too drastically, and then they show us a picture of the most important looping spot in the entire fucking game where everyone learns to play the game and they have removed it. It's just like, it feels so juxtaposed that I'm like, is this done on purpose to troll us or what's going on here? So yeah, that's kind of crazy. And I really, really hope that they are not just going to remove a looping spot without adding another in between. Because you might be thinking, there's already a looping spot in the kitchen, right? Or in the dining right now, right? There is a kitchen island, which is incredible. And then you have the dining table. Why does nobody ever loop around the dining table? Well, it's because dining tables, as they have been done in Phasmo as of now, are too low. They're too low to loop around because most of the time, now obviously I might be moving away from crouch looping, but most of the time you're crouched while you're running around these objects because you're trying to hide from the ghost, which I've always tried to kind of imagine as like the player, not necessarily crouch running around, but like just scrambling to hide from the ghost. Like, obviously there's no animation of them like crouching around corners and like trying to crawl on the floor and stuff like that, but it's kind of always what I've imagined. I didn't imagine this guy like squat running, obviously, because that's impossible, but them like just trying to hide their face from the ghost, trying to get away from the ghost and not be in line of sight of this terrifying creature that's gonna like snap your neck in half, right? So You can't do that same thing around dining tables. The ghost will speed up over time as you're doing this, which means a looping spot is only really a looping spot if you can do it without needing a smudge stick. If you need a smudge stick to use a looping spot, that is not a looping spot. And it does feel kind of like they've been moving a lot more in the direction of looping spots only work if you have a smudge stick where you can like quickly see the ghost do a few circles, then use a smudge stick to get out of that situation. Because that's kind of what's happened on Grafton, where they had this really powerful looping spot around the kitchen table or around the dining table, but that was not intended, so they changed it, and now it's no longer a powerful looping spot. So this kind of feel like they're moving away from looping spots, which is making me very concerned here that if we pan the camera to the left, we're going to see this rinky-dinky small dining table that's not actually going to be a looping spot. So I really hope that they're gonna replace, and this is why I'm not the most up in arms about this yet, but you have already heard me yap a whole lot about this. This is why I am pretty confident that they must understand that they need to replace this looping spot with another powerful looping spot, and the dining table has to be raised to be a proper normal looping spot where you can break line of sight with the ghost. Now, because it's going to be smaller, unless they make it bigger, because right now it's smaller, it would still be a much harder looping spot. And honestly, like, it would be it's a huge nerf to Tanglewood regardless. Like, this is going to make Tanglewood much harder to play on, which is kind of a shame because I think it is such a fun, like, new player map where you can learn the game. And right now it's it adds a dead end where there was previously infinite opportunities. And I really, like, obviously, I mean, hopefully we still have the car as a looping spot as well, because that's a very important one. The problem with the car is that it's so high that, yes, you can loop while standing up, but the problem is you can't really see the ghost, so you can't really get used to, though. You can't really practice looping to figure out the ghost abilities. You can just practice looping as the act of looping, but nobody really loops just to loop the ghost. Like, you could loop just to stay alive, obviously, but I'm looping the ghost to, like, is it an Oni? Is it a Phantom? Is it a Poltergeist? Is it any of the Speed Ghosts? Like, I'm looping them to get information in order to figure out what ghost I'm dealing with, which is, like, one of the most fun part about the game is that you can figure out information, not just by using items, but by actually knowing the ghost you're dealing with, being a true veteran of the ghost hunting, like, video game you're playing, and knowing all the abilities. I think that is what really has made me come back to this game as long as it has for over 3,000 hours, is that there's just such a stark contrast between a new player that is just learning the game, just learning how to, like, what does dots even look like, and then someone who just needs one smudge stick. Oh, I can hear this is a revenant. Let me just flash my flashlight for fun. The ghost comes barreling down the hallway, smudge it, giggly, we're going into another hiding spot. Like, there is just so many ghosts you can figure out, like, inside of hunts, outside of hunts, based on behavior, without equipment, that really makes you feel like such an experienced ghost hunter. That is, like, such an addictive feeling that I come back to this game for all the time. And seeing them remove the looping spot that I have personally used the most in the entire video game is a little upsetting, to say the fucking least. So yeah, I haven't reached out to them yet to, like, mention the dining table needing to change, because I would personally be fucking insulted if someone who's not on the dev team would come to me and giving me such an obvious tip that's like, hey, by the way, like, you do realize that this, like, most obvious thing of all time needs to be added to the game. Like, it would be an insult to your intelligence as a dev that we need to tell you that you cannot just replace or remove the most important looping spot without adding another looping spot in the place. Like, this is the most obvious thing ever that I'm just like, I haven't mentioned it yet because I'm like, they must be realizing this, right? We don't have to tell them this, but maybe we do gotta tell them this, because yeah, this is crazy. Now, we've gone on about this long enough. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Maybe I'm tweaking, maybe I'm going crazy on this for no reason, and people will just be okay. Maybe we'll all be okay and just forget that the best looping spot in the game ever existed, and, like, we'll still play on Tanglewood all the same. But I'm definitely 07 F's in the chat for our beloved kitchen looping spot, because I just thought that was such, like, the amount of times that I've ran around there with the ghost. And I really like the 2 looping spots that are chained together, right? In the kitchen and in the garage, you can hop between them, because if you remove this one and you only have the car, then you are in a situation where you're just gonna be like going to the same place every time, which I really enjoy going to, like being dynamic with it, a hunt, like not just sitting in the same place, because so many maps you're like sitting in one spot waiting for the ghost to arrive, then you do a quick loop, you smudge, and you run. Like, I actually think removing the crouch loop aspect of it removes so much fun and skill, because the smudge stick is much less skillful than actually properly crouch looping the ghost, you know? So I liked ping-ponging between the different hiding spots. Like, you run it a little bit in the kitchen, test for poltergeist. Okay, it's not a poltergeist, let me quickly run to the garage to get distance so that I can test for a djinn. Okay, it's not a djinn, let me go loop around. Oh, I actually didn't properly check for oni, let me bait it back into the kitchen so I can loop it a few more times to check for oni. Okay, it's also not an oni. And you've just done these 3 different hunt checks that are like completely separate from each other while ping-ponging between looping spots. That is just so dynamic and so fun and so much skill expression there that, like, I honestly am like, the devs do play the game in this way, right? Maybe it's just us that like really go so deep on the mechanics. I'm crazy. Okay, anyway, let's move on. When reworking, let's read the text. Maybe imagine the text is like, oh, by the way, we added a looping spot in the dining to make up for this one, and I've just been yapping for literally 10 minutes talking for no reason. Let's read it. When reworking Tanglewood, we wanted to make sure it provided a similar experience to the one ghost hunters know and love to this day, while still feeling fresh and exciting. To that end, while the map layout remains very similar to what you can play in the game today, the rework will feature a host of new interactions, a few small layout changes, and more. For those ghost hunters who fancy piecing a story together, a mystery lies behind 6 Tanglewood Drive that's just waiting to be uncovered. The real Thomas Wilson is coming back. Both the reworked 6 Tanglewood Drive and our player character update will be launching early next year, so stay tuned for more details on both as we get closer to their release. Am I fucking going crazy? To that end, the map layout remains very similar to what you can play. Yeah, just the one looping spot that you literally use every single time you play on Tanglewood has been removed. But besides, it's very small change. I don't really get... Am I going crazy? Am I taking crazy pills? Anyway, let's move on. Phasmophobia 1.0. While there's more up our sleeves for so this is crazy, by the way, as for the title here. Horror 2.0 is no longer going to be Horror 2.0. It's Phasmophobia 1.0. So, we're actually never getting Horror 2.0. Turns out GTA 6 is going to come out before Horror 2.0. While there's plenty more up our sleeves for Phasmophobia in 2026, it is all ultimately leading to what will be the biggest moment since we launched the game in early access in 2020, Phasmophobia 1.0. Our aim with the 1.0 launch is to be able to, as a team, look at Phasmophobia after many years of updating, iterating, and evolving, and know we fulfilled our vision of the game. Previous updates such as Chronicle and upcoming player character update have all gone a long way to creating the true immersive experience we know Phasmophobia is and will continue to be. And yes, that includes what was previously known as Horror 2.0. Our horror update will be the meatiest part of the 1.0 release and will give even the most seasoned ghost hunters a host of new scares and surprises. While we aren't going to share too many details on it, as we want the 1.0 release to feel as fresh and exciting as the original release did, keep an eye out for a few details throughout the year. Phasmophobia 1.0 will launch in 2026. Will launch in 2026 for all players across all available platforms at the same time. We can't wait to share all of this and more with you next year, Ghost Hunters. As always, stay tuned to our social channels and Discord server for the latest news and updates on all things Phasmophobia. Holy shit, I didn't even know that part. Honestly, all I had seen before starting this recording on this video is these 2 screenshots, which is why I yapped about them for like over 15 minutes. That's insane. We're getting 1.0 for Phasmo 2026. Now, numbers are social constructs, so 1.0 doesn't mean fucking shit. And they could, I'm assuming that they don't say it here. They didn't say it here, which makes me think it is how it's going to work. They didn't say that they're going to continue working on the game after 1.0, which if you were planning on doing that, I think you would mention that. So that might be the end of updates for Phasmo, which is kind of crazy and kind of comes as a shock to me because I thought we were still going to have a few years in us, and that might mean that they're already planning and already working simultaneously on the next project, because you're not going to scale up a gaming company to have 30 plus people and then very quickly after doing that like finish development on your biggest title that allowed you to build that company in the first place, right? So this means that they're either gonna simultaneously do more updates for Phasmo, or very quickly start sharing news about a new game, which will be very exciting. What could it be? Phasmophobia 2? We're gonna do the exorcism part of the game. Who knows? Now, they very heavily hinted at that they're adding more new ghosts, because obviously we have 27 ghosts right now, which extremely exciting. We got 3 new ghosts. I really like the 3 new ghosts. There is currently a possibility to add up to 35 ghosts with the current combination of evidences that we have, and they have very strongly said, now we can take this with a grain of salt because they've lied to us before when they said they weren't going to add any new ghosts, but they have very strongly said that they are not planning on adding any new evidence items, because that would completely you would have to rewrite the whole, like, all of the evidences that are in the ghost right now, and it would like add a bunch more combinations where by just 2 combinations you instantly know what ghost you're dealing with. Like it would like water the pool down of ghosts quite a bit. So I think we are going to have these evidences into 1.0, and there's not going to be any new evidences that we're going to see. However, I do think we're going to see new ghosts. Now, are we truly going to see 8 new ghosts up to 35? I would love to. But what they were also talking about is that they wanted to do some reworks first on the existing ghosts. Or no, they wanted to add, because we were talking about this with CJ during our last video. I think they were planning on adding ghosts and then realizing, like, they weren't going to just add all the ghosts immediately, because they first wanted to see, okay, this is our set of ghosts. What holes do we have right now that need to be filled by different types of behavior? And then they would rework some ghosts, add a new ghost to fill up those gaps and have, like, more variety in the way that ghosts interact, which I think is going to be sick. So yeah, I think we're going to continue seeing very interesting ghosts. No more Gorios, please. No more stupid Gorio releases, and only Galus, Obambos, and Dians, because those are all, I really thought they killed it with these ghosts. Dian is such a crazy one. The movement speed ghost, absolutely wild. So yeah, that is the big news. Very, very big news. We're getting 1.0 in 2026. Now, they didn't really say what this means. I guess they just said it's just a rebrand. Like, it's just Horror 2.0 is gonna be Phasmophobia 1.0. We don't know if they're gonna continue working on it afterwards. If there's gonna be new ghosts, new maps, like, I'm assuming, but they didn't say it here, so we can't really know. But yeah, Horror 2.0 is going to be coming. It's just going to have a slight rebrand. We, of course, have new animations, new character models, and the big one for me personally, because it's just my beloved map, which is why I talked about it way too much, and you're probably already tired of me mentioning it again, but the Tanglewood rework being pretty big. We only got 2 screenshots, and I managed to yap about it for 15 minutes because the one screenshot shows a really, really, really giant layout change for this map that they call a small change that stays largely the same, which is getting me kind of concerned. So let me know what you think about all of the news. Very exciting stuff, some questionable stuff, and overall I am very excited because I think they have they lost some of the goodwill with the console update delays, but I think with these new reworks and stuff, they have shown that they really they know how to make the game feel fucking spooky with good interaction. So I am very hopeful that they're gonna nail all of this, and that they're gonna walk this tightrope, this dangerous tightrope of changing the most played map in the entire game, and absolutely nail it with the other stuff in Horror 2.0, Phasmophobia 1.0. My goodness. All right, I think we're gonna stop talking now. I really hope you enjoyed the video so far. Let me know if you understood anything that I was saying. If you're not subscribed, please do so. If you liked the video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. And if you want to join us on the live stream, you can find us over at twitch.tv/Instagram. The link in the description down below. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.